This lesson and series that it's from, maybe we'll call this the vacation series. It's going to be at www.lifegatechurch.com, where 1,000 other sermons and hundreds of other series reside and will live there forever. They're eternal. And if you're looking for us on Facebook, it's Lifegate, 2 words, Lifegate Church. And you can find us there, like us, connect with us, and be good. Well, I am still on vacation, but this is what I do. I come home to see you guys. I can't stay away. I don't know if you'll ever get rid of me, actually. So we're just here. Okay, several weeks back, I handed out a paper and I asked you to fill it out. And it had all the sermons that we had done this year on it listed. And I asked you to circle 2 that you wouldn't mind hearing again or want me to reiterate again during the weeks that I'm on vacation. It helps me a little bit, and it tells me what you really enjoyed. Well, I've done this a couple of times, several times, and this time was kind of phenomenal. There was one sermon that just ruled. I mean, it was one, and I don't know if it really just stuck with you that well, or if maybe somebody went to bat for it and wanted it and told their life group that everybody vote for this one. I don't know. But something happened. Anyway, this was phenomenal. The numbers that I got for request for this particular one. And it's from the series that we did on Divine Appointments and Connections, your DAAC, your Divine Appointments and Connections. And it's the one that we called People That You Should Meet and People That You Should Miss. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Now, what God has done is He's, in His book, it's already written, all your days are written, and they're down on the road for you to encounter those days that He has your perfect life, the life that He wants you to live, all written down. Now, this was the 3rd lesson that we did in this series. So, you know me, we had gone through maybe by this time 20, maybe 30 scriptures when we get to this one. So I've got to go back. I can't do all of those, of course. We won't get to the sermon, but what I got to do is pick up at least 2 and refer to one that I need you to see so that we'll all be on the same page and looking at the same thing. So I'm reading this from the New Living Translation. It's in Psalms 139, a very popular passage around here. And I'm going to read verses 13 through 17. And it says, "You," speaking of God, "made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous, and how well I know it. I know I am something special," is what David is saying here. "Now you watched me as I was being formed in the utter seclusion as I was woven together in the dark of the womb. And you saw me before I was ever born." Now here's the part I want. "Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed." Is that not awesome? God's got your perfect life, the best life that you could possibly have, already recorded for you, already written out, already laid out for you. And then He says this, "How precious are your thoughts about me. How precious are your thoughts about me, oh God. They are" what? "Innumerable." Would everybody just say that with me really loud on the count of 3? Just say innumerable. 1, 2, 3. Innumerable. Innumerable. God has innumerable thoughts about you. Innumerable thoughts. Now let's look at this one more passage that I want to look at in Jeremiah 29:11, another popular passage here. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future." God has plans for your future. And they're already written and recorded in a book. They're innumerable. For Him to pull off and to cause these innumerable thoughts and these innumerable plans to transpire and take place, it's going to require that you meet innumerable people. You're going to have people already setting out there waiting for you to get there. He's got it all figured out. He's already thought it through. He's already planned it out. They're waiting for you to get there. And this is going to bring you to the best life that you can possibly experience. These are life-changing people that you will meet in your life. These are people that could be your spouse. These are people that will be your spouse. These are people that you will meet who will be a friend for a lifetime. These are people that you will meet who hold the key to the door of opportunity that's going to raise you to the next level of living. These are going to be people that will be with you in your desperate of times, in your most desperate of moments in life. These are people that are going to help you get through it. They're already setting out there. God's got it all worked out, planned out, thought through. That's your best life that you can possibly have. Now, we've all experienced these things. We've all experienced these people in our past. We know, and we know that there are special people in our past that we met that changed our lives. And we look back and we see that. So if it was true in the past, then it's going to be true today, right? He's doing it today. And if it's true in the past and true today, then he's going to be doing it in your future. And I want you to know that it's not an accident. See, it's not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. And it's not chance. Don't believe. Listen, it's planned out. It's supernatural. It's a supernatural taking charge of the best life that God has planned for you and that you can experience and live because he has it all worked out, all planned out. Innumerable people that you're going to be encountering in your life. It's a supernatural event. See, this is what Psalms chapter 37, verses 23 through 25 says. It says that the steps of a righteous person is ordered or ordained of the Lord. Now, a lot of people wonder why their lives go awry, why their lives go south, why it goes bad, why it goes crazy. Well, likely it's because you connected with a person or people you should have missed. That'll always take you in the wrong direction. That'll always cause destruction and chaos in your life. There are people you should meet, and there are people that you should miss. And when you look back at your life, you see this is so true. And you look back at the people that you met that were divine appointments and connections, and you look at your life and you saw how your life went up. Things got better. It went smoothly. Everything was good. But you look back at the people that you should have missed but didn't. You look back at those and you see the opposite. You see life went down. You see life went south. There was grief. There was turmoil. There was shame. There was destruction in your life. We know it's true. There are divine connections that God has for us. There are divine appointments. There are people we should meet. There are people that we should miss. And sometimes when you're with the wrong people, it even seems demonic. You get around demonized people because you're with the wrong group. You're with the wrong people. And life can only go bad. Only go bad. It's only going to go up when you're with your DAACs, your divine connections and appointments. All right. Now, I want you to understand this, that both are equal. The people that you meet and the people that you miss are the people that you met and should have missed, all equally involved in your life. They all direct your life equally. The people that you meet and want to meet and should meet will always take you down to the doors of life that are good, down the paths of life where God can bless you. The people that you don't want to meet and that you really need to miss will always take you to the wrong door and always take you to the wrong experiences in life and will always take you down into destruction. This is just how it works. And we don't really need any help, do we, with people to pull us off course to get to going into the wrong door and going down the wrong paths of life. We can do fine all by ourselves. We can miss that door fine. We don't need any help to pull us off there. What we need in our life is people that will help us get to it, right? That's what we need. And here's what Jesus said about this particular subject. In Matthew chapter 7, it's a Sermon on the Mount. He's winding it up here in this particular chapter. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13 and 14 says this. Enter through. Now, I want you to see something here. This is what we do. This is what you do, what I do. We enter through. He doesn't make us enter through. This is what we do. We enter through. We make the choice. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction. And many enter through it. How many? Many, meaning more than don't. More enter the wrong gate than don't. Many enter through it, but small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, And only, so sadly, only a few find it. Don't miss that word, find. You got to search for this. You got to find. It's just not there. It's just not going to happen. What you got to do is you got to find this gate. And what we need is people that will help us find it. Now, the point that I'm really wanting to draw from this particular passage and thought is that God is not going to make you go in this gate. Will God let you go in the wrong gate? Will God allow you to hook up with people that are going to cause you destruction in your life and bring you down? Will He allow that if that's what you want? He doesn't want to do it that way. He wants to bless your life. He's got all these plans, innumerable plans. He's got all these innumerable thoughts about you. He wants you to go up. He wants you to have an abundant life. That's what Jesus said, I come to give you is that life and that more abundantly. He wants you to have the greatest life you can possibly have. But if you want another life, just hang out with the wrong people. It's pretty much that simple. And so he wants us to go in the right gate. Now, your life today, right now, is a product of people you met years back. People that you met years back in your past had a tremendous influence on your life and what it is today. People that you met, people that you missed, and people that you wished you had missed. They have a huge influence on our destinies. And you may say, well, Delbert, how can that be? How can somebody that I never met have an influence on my life? How can somebody that I never met direct my life? You missed them when you should have met them. You can't tell me that you look back at your life and can't recall times where you were in a situation, a dire situation, and there was somebody who had the solution to your situation, and you didn't know them, you didn't meet them. Or somebody had a key of an opportunity, a door that would open and change your life and change your level of living, that weren't there when you needed them, and you missed them. Some of you married the wrong person the first time. Why? Because you were with the wrong person, and you missed the right person. We miss people that we should meet because we're connected with people that we should have missed. Now, I don't know if you got that, but you understand what my point is. When you're running and connected with the wrong people, you're going to miss the right people. They have taken you away from. They can't stop you from going in the right door, but what they do is they distract us. They seem like they're cool, they're fun, and we want to connect with them and we want to do with them, and so we miss the narrow gate, the small gate, and we enter into this wide gate. The reason that so many people miss the way that God has for them planned and the best life they can have is simply because they have connected with people they should have missed in life. And the more that we associate with people that we should meet, the better our lives go up. Better our lives go. But the more we associate with the people that we should miss, the worse our lives go. And it goes down and down. Grief, tragedy, sadness, shame, always, usually you'll find are connected with people that we should have missed. And they will lead us to demonic people. There will be times in our life where it seems like there's such a demonic darkness and influence upon our lives. And when you have those particular times, you need to look around at who you're connected with. I remember when I was 7 years old, I told you the story, but I was 7 years old and we had moved, my parents moved from Miami, Florida, retired to the big city, and moved to a little town called Griffin, Georgia. We were living with some of their friends. Dad built a house. Actually, it was a basement at the time that became a house. But he built this basement, and we were moving into it. And well, he had noticed a bus going by the house where we were moving to. It was bus number 27. It was Mr. Bevel's bus. It's amazing how you recall these things. 7 years old. And so we're there, and so the natural assumption would be that if Delbert Ray gets on this bus, that it's going to take him to the school. And he did a little research. He found out that the bus, 27, actually ended up at the grammar school that I attended, just to make sure, yeah, it's there. Okay, that's what he gets on. So, but what they didn't know is in the same community where we were moving into, there was a grammar school, a little tiny community grammar school. So I get on the bus that day. Now, I've been going to this school for 2 years, and I kind of knew everybody. I get on this bus, and I didn't know anybody. I'm 7 years old. I don't know anybody here. These are strangers. And this bus goes down these dirt roads and back roads and all through the country. And I'm a 7-year-old kid. And I'm on this bus with people I don't know. And it pulls up to this building. And it's the grammar school. And all the kids get off. I sit there. Well, the bus driver, Mr. Bevel, he says, son, you got to get off here. This isn't my school. It is now. So I get off the bus. And I go to school here. Now, you got to realize this. I'm a 7-year-old kid. I don't know what's happening. Now, this was way before, this is a long time ago. I'm not going to tell you how long, but this is a long time ago that this took place. There was no cell phones. We didn't even have a phone in the house yet. And if I did, it would have been a party line and probably couldn't have got through. But anyway, it was some of you remember that. But anyway, that's what the situation. So there was no way of contacting my parents. I was stuck here. And this teacher, Miss Walker, that's amazing. She takes me and I go to school there that day. And she gives me this paper and she said, Delbert Ray, take this to your parents and tell them that they need to come see me. I said, okay. So I did. Well, all the kids got back on the bus. I did too. And we drove around through these dirt roads all the way back around again. Finally, I see my house. Whew, there's my house. So I get off. So I go in, and that evening I tell my mom and dad, I said, I went to a new school today. What? They freaked out. I mean, you can imagine they're good parents, but their child had spent all day long at a place they didn't know where he was, with people they didn't know who they were, and they actually freaked out. And then, of course, Mom went the next day and took care of all the transfer papers and all the stuff. Now, see, they freaked out. But to me, it was a DAAC. It was a divine appointment and connection. That day, I met another 7-year-old boy. His name was Darrell Ray. Darrell and I became best of friends. I met him that day. His name was Darrell. The reason I say was is because he passed on last year. In Revelation chapter 2, verse 17 says that we are given a new name written on a stone that only we know. He has a new name now. But to me, he's Darrell. I knew Darrell. And we went all the way through grammar school together. We're best of friends. We rode the bus together. We went through, back then it was junior high. We went through junior high together. We went through high school together. We graduated together. Darrell asked me after graduation, he says, Delbert, what school are you going to? Where you going to go after, what college? I said, I'm not going. What? Delbert, no, you need to go to college. You got too much going on. You're too smart. No. I'm going up to this college and a couple of days, and he says, go with me and take the test, and let's figure this thing out. And he says, if you don't want to go, it's no big deal. He said, but I want you to go. I said, okay. So I went with him. We were accepted, of course, and we went to school, and we both went through college together. We roomed together. We drove together. We enjoyed that experience together, and we got our associates together, the same associate degree. Well, Darrell was really more than a good friend. Darrell was my only God friend. He was the only person in my life in all of those years who really tried to help me go through the narrow gate, the small gate, and down the narrow road. When I was with Darrell, I never got in trouble. I was a good boy. Things went well in my life. But when I was with my other friends, my cool friends, I was going through the wrong gates. I was a bad boy. I was going down the wrong road in life. I was causing problems, myself problems, other people problems. I was rebellious against my parents. I got into all kinds of problems, grief problems, and turmoil. I got in all kinds of mess with my other friends. But when I was with Darrell, life was better. Life went up. Other friends, life went down. Now, I'm sure that you have your Darrell friends, people that you should meet, who are going to help you get through. See, I wouldn't have gone to college had it not been for him. People that will help you go through the right gate, the right door, down the right roads of life. But you've also got those other friends, those cool friends, those friends that are fun. and you go with them. But you find yourself going down, 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 and you find yourself into destruction. See, there are people that you should meet, and there are people that you should miss. They both influence and direct your life. And the saddest thing is that while you're with the people that you should miss, you're missing the people that you should meet. And sometimes in my days, I look back at those days, and I was like demonized. I was vile. I was dark. Book of Proverbs talks about this. Proverbs chapter 13. Verse 20 says this. Is it cold? You're good? Okay. Proverbs 13:20 says this. He who walks with the wise grows wise. Now, again, notice, this is something you decide. You can walk with wise people, or, rest of the verse, but a companion of fools. I like the way it says that. A companion of fools suffers harms. It's up to you to decide who you're going to walk with. God's not going to make you walk with wise people. You can walk with the dumbest people in the world if that's what you want to do. But if you'll walk with wise people, you'll do wise things. You'll do God things. You'll go through the right gates. You'll go down the right roads. I'm going to read that to you from the King James Version. Emphasize a different section of it. He that walketh wise with wise men shall be wise. Okay, we've got that part. But a companion of fools, there's that statement again, but a companion of fools shall be, not will be, not might be, shall be, you will be destroyed. It's going to happen. God's not going to force you to go through the right gate, walk with the right people. This is something you do. And you got to find the people because you got to find the gate. They're out there. God's got them for you. Innumerable. Thousands of people that you got to meet in a lifetime to get to where God wants you to get and have the life that God has planned for you. Now, I want to make a point here. The primary point that I want to draw from this is parents. God is going to bring the God people, the wise people, the right people into the lives of your children. Right? Like me. I mean, that was crazy. On the wrong bus, parents freaking out, but it's a DAAC for me. And you know, God's going to do it. He's going to work it out. They're going to meet the right people in life. But they've got to learn that there's a difference between walking with wise people and walking with dummies, walking with fools, being a companion of fools. And that's your job. That's one of your primary jobs as a parent. You got to teach them. You first of all got to teach them that there are wise people and there are foolish people, and you can be a companion with either. You can walk with either. You got to first teach them the difference. You got to teach them that if you walk with the wise, you're going to grow wise. You're going to have great things happen in your life. You're going to go up and up and up. But if you become a companion of fools, you're going to have bad things happen. You're going to go down, 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 and destruction awaits you. And you got to teach them that. And you got to teach them that they've got to make the choice. They make the choice, but you got to teach them to trust you with it. See, they are children. And you know how peer pressure is, especially for a child. They want to be with the cool kids. They want to be with the fun kids. And most of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time, the cool kids are going through the wrong gate and going down the wrong roads. Sometimes it's not real cool to go through the right gate and to go down the right road. And you got to teach them the difference. Listen, cool kids can be fools. And you don't want to be a companion, even though they're cool, with fools. And you got to teach them to trust you with this. Now, my wife was just amazing here. I mean, she never, ever missed it. Not one time. She was 100%. I remember one specific time, there was this one kid. I thought he was a pretty cool kid. I liked him. I thought he was good. We got in the truck. I said, I like him. Do you like him? She says, Well, really? Okay, I don't like him. Something about him. I was like, okay. And I learned to trust that because she never missed it. And I knew that something was wrong if I missed it and she didn't, because I learned to trust her with this thing. And so when she said somebody was a no, they were a no. And Daddy stepped in. Daddy stepped in and says, you're not going with them. You're not going off with them. You're not dating them. You're not going to do anything with them. And, kids, they're going to react. They're going to get mad. Why can't I? They're my friend. And, that's the point. And we're saying, we want you to, we're trying to help you here. I don't care if you get mad at me. I don't care if you hate me. I don't care. My job is not to be your friend. My job is to be your daddy. And I am going to be. I will put you in that room, girl. I will lock that door. Who is it? Oh, it was Joyce. She was talking the other week, and she was talking about how Mary Grace and her daughter and Bonnie, our daughter, were together, but they got in some trouble, but didn't get a whole lot of trouble because Bonnie was always grounded. No, wasn't grounded like grounded in the Word. She was grounded in her room. But Judy was amazing here. I mean, she never, ever missed it. She has this, as Faith calls it, this gift of knowing. This gift of knowing. And she just knew. And that was it. When it was okay, she thought it was okay. It was okay. We let it happen. And our kids did pretty well. Our kids did pretty well. Now, there is this thing of discernment. There is a gift of discernment. And one of you parents are going to have it. One of you might not, but one of you might. And one of you will. I just know God's going to give one of those parents the gift of discernment. And you know when somebody's not right for your kids. You know when somebody's bad for your kids. And you better step in. You're not there to be their friend. You're not there for them to like you. You're there to be a parent for them. And if you miss this, you're setting them up for destruction. Now, in the Bible, there is this person. His name is Saul of Tarsus. And he was a bad guy. He's in the New Testament, Saul of Tarsus. He persecuted the church. He caused all sorts of havoc. He was there and consented to the stoning of Stephen, and he was arresting Christians. He was bad. He was hated. One day on the road to Damascus, going to arrest some Christians, he had an encounter with Jesus. Jesus supernaturally appeared to him. And he called Saul of Tarsus supernaturally into the kingdom of God as a chosen vessel of his to go into the then known world and to preach the gospel of the kingdom of God. Well, Saul did. Who wouldn't with the way he had it happen to him? So he went and was trying to do what Jesus had asked him to do. But nobody wanted Saul of Tarsus around. They didn't believe he was really a disciple. They were afraid of him. They thought that he was just trying to get into the church, find out who the leaders were, then arrest the leaders and cause more destruction for the church. So let me start reading this to you in the book of Acts, chapter 9, verse 26. When he, Saul, came to Jerusalem, he tried to join the disciples, but they were all afraid of him, not believing that he really was a disciple. But Barnabas. This is Saul's DAAC, divine appointment and connection. This one person changed Saul's life. But Barnabas took him and brought him to the apostles, brought him to the right gate, and told them how Saul on his journey had seen the Lord and that the Lord had spoken to him, and how in Damascus he had preached fearlessly in the name of Jesus. So Saul stayed with them. They accepted him. He came in the door that was literally going to change his life, and moved about freely in Jerusalem. Now the apostles couldn't move about freely. They would have been arrested, but Saul was a Pharisee. And he could go out and do anything he wanted to do. And so he went out and preached about Jesus, which is what the rest of speaking boldly in the name of the Lord. Now this one encounter, this encounter opened the gate, the small gate, the narrow gate for Saul, and changed his life from destruction to life. Put him on the right road, set him forth. And this Saul of Tarsus became Paul the Apostle. He wrote half of the New Testament. He started innumerable numbers of churches in the Mediterranean basin. It's because of him we have the teachings that we have today in the New Testament. And all he needed was one Barnabas. Just one. One Barnabas. And God already had him all planned out, all lined up, all thought through, just waiting for him to get there. And it changed his life and his destiny forever. And some of you wonder about how am I going to get that job I want? How am I going to get that promotion I want? How am I going to meet the person that I want to meet? How am I going to meet the right spouse? How am I going to meet the right person? How am I going to meet the right person that I should marry or do my life with? How am I going to get that? How am I going to get this? How's it going to happen? All you need is God to send you one Barnabas, and your life will change forever. One person, the right person in your life, changes your destiny. And I'm here to tell you, God's already got them out there. They're already planned. All you got to do is stay close to God. All you got to do, and I'll sum this up in just a little while, 2 things you need to do to make sure you meet the right people. We'll talk about that in just a few seconds. See, but the right people in your life will cause your life to go up. But the wrong people in your life do the same thing, except they cause your life to go down. Complete opposite as far as which direction you're going to go. I don't need to tell you, do I, about Samson and Delilah. See, Samson was supernatural. He was called of God before he was even conceived. He was supernatural. He was a powerful person. Powerful man. Supernatural man. But he met one person. One person. Delilah. And that Delilah, that one person, took him to destruction. He lost his vision literally for his life, but literally lost his life. Destruction. The Bible tells us a whole lot about King David. David, man after God's own heart. King David, it tells us a whole lot, and sometimes more than maybe we should know, but anyway. But David had 8 wives and a bunch of concubines, and he had 19 sons that the Bible tells us about. He had many more that doesn't tell us about. And the Bible tells us about one daughter that he had. Her name was Tamar. He had to have more than that, but the Bible doesn't tell us about it. But these people are important. And so he's got this huge family, and it's such a mess. His family is such a mess, so dysfunctional. But I want to read you this about him in 2 Samuel chapter 13 and verse 1. In the course of time, Amnon, son of David, fell in love with Tamar, the beautiful sister of Absalom, son of David. So get it now. See, David had children, and Absalom and Tamar were brothers and sisters by one wife. And then Amnon was also his son, child of David, but had another mother. Same father, different mother. And this Amnon fell in love, it says, he thought he was, with his half-sister, Tamar. He really wasn't in love, he was in lust. And he wanted her. He wanted her physically and sexually. But he had restrained himself until a friend comes by. Let me read it to you. 2 Samuel 13:3. Now Amnon had a friend named Jonadab, son of Shimei, David's brother. Now, it wasn't only a friend, it was a companion, but it was a cousin. You got to watch those cousins. I got you now. So anyway, it says this cousin. So Shimei, brother David. So he's a companion of fools, Amnon is, because here's what it says. It says Jonadab was a very shrewd man. So Jonadab comes up with this plan. You know, Amnon says, man, I really want her. So Jonadab, his friend, his cousin, comes up, his companion, he comes up with this plan. It's to deceive the parents. And so he says, tell David that you're sick, and that how Tamar, when she makes this food, man, it makes you feel so much better. And tell him, if he will, to send Tamar over here to the house, and then you can have her. You can have her. So David, without discernment, so I'm telling you, parents, you got to use your discernment. David because that's what his kid wanted. Okay, I mean, I'm thinking, David, wake up, boy. What's wrong with you? Well, how many people can cook for this kid? I mean, come on, why her? Why does he want her there? You got to figure this thing out. So anyway, David sends Tamar over there, and Amnon rapes her, and then he throws her away. And then the Bible says he hated her, threw her away like a used rag. David didn't do anything about it. David didn't address Amnon, didn't correct the situation, sort of ignored it, hoping it would just go away. That's what a lot of parents do. Never really deal with a situation. So, but, see, Tamar had a big brother named Absalom. Absalom waited 2 years for David to do something. He didn't do anything. So Amnon set up an assassination for his half-brother Amnon for raping his sister. Killed him. Destruction. Listen, one Jonadab in your life can destroy you. One Delilah can destroy you. One Barnabas can take you through the right gate, down the right road, path that's going to lead up and up and up, abundant life. One Jonadab, one Delilah, take you the other way, destroy your life. And you would say, okay, Delbert, I got it. You're right. I see that. That's real. But my life is such a mess. I have connected with people that I should have missed, and I didn't. Now my life's a mess. Well, I want you to know that God can take your mess and make it a miracle. There's an elder, a leader in our church, Doug Aker. He had a mess. This was years ago, 31 years ago. He had went through a hideous divorce. It was full of deception and deceit, and his wife, Doug fought for his marriage, but his wife would have it no other way but divorce, and so divorce happened. Doug was so bruised and injured. He was so wounded by it. Doug had a friend, a good friend, and this friend was concerned about Doug and kept trying to hook Doug up with blind dates. And Doug would keep saying, no, I'm not interested. I just don't want that right now. No. And at the same time, this friend of Doug was also a friend of this other person, this woman named Linda. And she was a very beautiful woman, a very sweet woman, a very precious person, a very tender person. And she had also suffered a horrible marriage, a hideous situation, bad situation, been divorced several years. And she one day asked this same friend of Doug's, do you know anyone I might like? And so the friend said, yeah, I do. Let me get back with you. So the friend calls Doug and says, hey, man, listen, you got to go on this one. She's beautiful. She's sweet. You'd love her. You need to go. So he talked Doug into it, and Doug says, okay, I'll go. Well, after Doug hung the phone up, he said, but I tried to get out of it. He said, but it was before, as Doug wrote, it was before the days of cell phones. It was difficult to contact people, especially if somebody didn't want you to. Today, it's not quite like that. and so he couldn't connect with this guy and break the date. So Doug's the kind of a person, if he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. So Doug shows up. Well, he meets Linda. And that day, they just drove around and kind of got to know each other. Just all four of them just kind of drove around, got to know it. But the next night, they set up a real appointment. And they went dancing. And what God was doing was turning their mourning into dancing. They dated a year, and they got married. And that was over 31 years ago. And they've had a great life ever since. It was a mess. Both of them had a mess. See, there are people that you should meet, and there are people that you should miss. Doug needed to meet Linda. Linda needed to meet Doug. And it was a divine appointment and connection. And then Doug writes this. This is what Doug says about it. Doug's words are, we have been blessed with 4 daughters, 8 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandchildren. The first go-around, we did it our way, and it failed. This time, we put God first, and He has blessed us greatly. I want you to know God will turn your mourning into dancing. He will make your mess a miracle. It was 30 years ago. I had come to town. I had just begun preaching at this little church down here. It was a very small little building. I had only been there a couple of weeks, and it was a Sunday night service, and I had preached. And I'd finished up, and I was about to dismiss, and I looked back in the back, and it was a very small room, so it wasn't hard to see who was on the back row, and that's where Doug and Linda sat. And they sat on the back row, and Linda had her hand up. So I acknowledged her, said, yes, Linda. And I didn't know their stories. I didn't know anybody's story. She says, can I give a testimony? I said, okay. That's what we did then. So she gave a testimony. So she stood up, and she started crying and rejoicing about thanking God for the wonderful husband He had given her. How God had turned her mourning into dancing. And it was such an amazing thing, how he was so good to her and how he was such a blessing to her and how she was so glad that God had worked that out for her. I didn't know their stories. I'm just saying, yeah, okay, good, great, hallelujah, you know. That was 30 years ago. Today, 30 years later, I agree with Linda. Doug is a wonderful man. He's one of the best men I've ever met in my life. I can trust Doug with anything. He's been there in my desperate of times. He's helped me through. He'll do anything for me. See, Doug Aker wasn't only someone that Linda should meet. He was someone I should meet. And you should meet if you haven't. He was a divine appointment and connection to me. I come all the way up from Griffin, Georgia. And I meet Doug. I meet you. See, God has people out there that you should meet. But God has people out there that you need to miss. And when you hook up with the wrong people, you miss the people that you need to meet. And your life today, right now, is a product of people you met, people you missed, and people you should have missed years back. Let's pray. Father, thank you. We love you, Lord. Thank you for this time. Father, thank you for your amazing word. Father, thank you for the people in our lives that are DAACs, divine appointments and connections. Thank you that you've connected us together, and they are such a blessing in our lives. Now, Father, help us discern. Help us figure out the people that are in our lives that we need to disconnect with. Help us see these people. Help us understand that these people are bad for us and that we need to disassociate with them. Father, I pray you'll help us, you'll show us, you'll give us discernment, and that, Father, you'll help us get through the right gates of life and go down the correct roads of life so that we can experience the abundant life that Jesus came to give us all. Father, we ask you to help us now in the name of Jesus Christ.